This is Anna, Imagination with a Healing Garden. Welcome to Pando, and I figured out memorization. I understand where it all went wrong. Memorization is what was mistaken for the deconstruction of the mental process. People were watching the deconstruction of the mental process and they incorrectly assumed, oh, they're memorizing. No, we were never memorizing. And the theory was never explained. So what we saw was, oh, they must be memorizing. So someone somewhere saw the deconstruction of the mental process, which is the go over it again, go over it again, go over it again. And there is theory taking place behind the deconstruction of the mental process. There is theory happening there. And this is what Plato taught when he said discussion. It's exploratory dialogue. What you are really doing when you have exploratory dialogue, not monologue, dialogue. What you require is the breakdown of the theory. I have a dear friend, Matt, who I do this with all day long. We'll work and he and I will come up with something and then we will turn to each other. Are we all listening? And in the middle of our workday, we will start using deconstruction of the mental process. Now, as we go through deconstruction of the mental process, we are breaking down the comprehension of the theory. Zoom out. This is reverse engineering. That's what we are doing. This is reverse engineering. It is the deconstruction of the mental process with the theory so that we can understand it. And then he and I return to our work with a clearer understanding of what's going on. Now we are doing skill building. For him, that's drawing and networking. For me, it's sitting down doing these oral storyal displays of speech. Or I'll sit down and I'll write something. And then I'll break down the theory of it. I'll go over to my classes and I'll elaborate on that. We'll both get into a stumped. We'll contact each other, exploratory dialogue. Okay, so this is what I realized, and let's break down the theory again. So what it is really an alteration between the deconstruction of the mental process and skill building. Did you hear what I just said? You are supposed to be combining in real life skill development and application, practical application of practice, practical, with the theory that is the deconstruction of the mental process. When you toggle between those two things, they actually work together, which explains the first and the second ethic. Now you have self-regulation. That is the learning process. This is 100% the learning process. It is a three-part process of theory with the deconstruction of the mental process, deconstruction in theory. So it's theoretical deconstruction. Really, if I were to call it something proper, it would be theoretical deconstruction. My God, I love my work. This is where I'm like, yes, this is amazing shit. The theoretical deconstruction. And then the next part of that is practiced, practical application in real life. It must be applied practically in real life. So you have practice, practical application, and then you have integration. It's always integration. That's the part I always forget. So much so that I made sure that I insert it into the stages of healing. Integration. Okay, so you have theoretical deconstruction, and then you have practical practiced application, which is really catchy and aesthetically pleasing to my ears, just to say practical practiced application, and then integration. So theoretical deconstruction, practice, practical application, and then integration. That is the learning process. Now, the first ethical perspective, courage, is also, that's one. That is the first ethic, theoretical deconstruction. That is what we're doing as children when we are analyzing, breaking things down with our parents, trying to put those little squares into those little holes. And it's like, oh, it's not working. That's interesting. And then we sit there and we ask these parents all of these questions. And then in practiced application, that's the playground. That's when you go out and you adventure and you're like, and you go out and you learn. And then you come back to your comfort zone with all of your treasures that you've collected in the world. And you're like, look what I've learned. And you integrate all of it together. That is self-regulation, which is the third ethic. The second ethic is self-authority. So you have theoretical deconstruction, the courage with the first ethic, self-authority with the third, with practical practiced application, and then self-integration, self-regulation with the integrated skill. Now, trauma occurs when this gets fucked up. Trauma occurs when somebody, usually a parent or a teacher, obstructs this process. You have to be able to alter between theoretical discussion with deconstruction via exploratory dialogue And you have to be able to swing into practical application where you are hands-on doing it in real life. And then you have to learn how to integrate it together, which is self-regulation. In order to pull that off, you require self-authority. But our culture does not allow for this, which is the problem, is children are supposed to be seen and not heard, which means they're not allowed to do the theoretical deconstruction and the breaking down of what they need. And because practiced application, now if you have an over-enabling mother or caregiver, now they're interfering with the process, so you are not applying practical application. And now they're interfering with stage 2 of this process. Self-regulation is the independent stage where you have to break away completely, so you have to learn how to balance between theoretical deconstruction and the practice application of it. So mental illness occurs when 1, 2, or 3 does not take place. Mental illness, mental health, mental wealth is the learning process. That's what this is. Absolutely. So very fascinated, very fascinated. I love talking about this stuff. Thank you so much. Memorization, right. The whole purpose of this thing was memorization, that when you see somebody redoing things over and over again, when you see that repetition, it's not the repetition of memorization that's taking place. It's this. This is what's going on. And at some point we observed it and went, oh, they must be memorizing it. No, what this is really doing is our logical comprehension. That is part 1 with the theoretical deconstruction. That is our logical comprehension. That's our logic health. The second part is our skill building, which is our motor skills. It is also our problem solving skills. And both of these things together give us proof of concept. Now we are getting into the third ethic again. Also, second ethic was self-authority. This is absolutely reaffirming that you can do it, that you have skills, that you can, which absolutely feeds and nourishes our mental health because we have proof that we can. But it requires us going through the process of our own logical comprehension, problem solving skills, and skill development. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is so exciting. This is the juice. All right, thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.